This is Fincop, a spectacular hill overlooking Monsell Dale in the timeless landscape of the Derbyshire peak. And dawn is breaking on a midsummer day, some 2,000 years ago. In these days, hilltops where the land meets the sky are sacred, and the people who live in the shadow of the Great Finn are welcoming the longest day of the year with pagan ceremony and ritual. Well, the truth is, we just don't know whether anything like this really happened. Because despite all these intriguing humps and bumps, there's never been a proper scientific archaeological investigation into here. Well, not until now. Because thanks to a grant from the Heritage Lottery Fund, the Longston Local History Group have been able to put together a community project involving professional archaeologists and local volunteers so that they can start solving this Derbyshire mystery. The archaeologist who's in charge of this project can tell us all about it is Clive Waddington.
Well, what we've got up here, you can see behind me the first excavation trench that we've opened, and this is an excavation trench over the ramparts. Well, prior to this, we've surveyed the monument to decide where to locate the trench, and we've done this with the local volunteers and created an accurate topographic survey. Prior to that, though, we'd also undertaken some desk-based research, and this included volunteers going to the libraries, going to museums, and also looking at old maps and aerial photographs. But they've also been looking at the folklore of Fincop.
Beneath the Huff, where transverse valleys meet, is Demonsdale, a dreary, lone retreat, where Hughlac Warren, from his horrid den, spied on the fairest daughter of the glen. A humble shepherdess, her father's flocks Edessa kept amid these hills and rocks. Her tuneful song oft echoed through the woods and mingled with the murmur of the floods. As springtime meadows turned from brown to green, chance led Edessa to the fields of Finn, where from the thicket giant Hughlac strode to take her to his dismal, dark abode. With one last effort she broke free, but woe, she fell into the valley far below, and her eternal purity and worth has caused the Hedess spring to issue forth. Hughlac blasphemed the gods, and to atone the heinous crime was turned to Warrenstone. And, after all these years, a tree does grow, which in the wind doth sigh, to mark his woe.
Well, folklore often starts with a tiny seed of truth, and over the years it grows into a story that's very much larger than life. So perhaps the original Hughlac wasn't a giant, but a mighty warrior based on Fincop, because this was an Iron Age hill fort, wasn't it?
Well, the hill fort's either late Bronze Age or Iron Age, and we're going to find that out by the radiocarbon dates. Just down by my feet here, we found a skeleton, the corpse of a human. We're not sure yet whether it's male or female, but it was positioned with the pelvis here, one leg sticking up about here, and the body twisted and the face pointing downwards with one arm under and one arm over. And clearly the corpse has just been thrown in, and this suggests that what we're looking at is a violent assault, the destruction of the hill fort, and during that destruction they've gathered up corpses and thrown them into the ditch and covered over with more rampart fill.
And what we'll be doing over the next few months, we'll be sending things off for scientific analysis, and we'll give you a summary of what we've found.
Well, all that data came back from the lab and Clive has put together his report. Here's a summary.
We start off about 700 BC. We find evidence for people living on the hilltop, making pottery, and then they build a hill fort. And around 200 BC, the walls are levelled and the site's abandoned.
The corpse that had been thrown into the ditch was female. And there's evidence she was of high status. So she might have been a local princess or even a druid priestess. But along with her bones were those of her unborn baby.